So guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Crispin, and today we're going to be talking about something so interesting. Initially, we wanted to do something different, but just morning I had to call them that, listen, we have to do something. And then Benjamin was like, Chris, I'm not ready, but Anita was like, okay, let's go for it. We're talking about who is the true believer. I mean, we always think that a believer is a person who goes to church like Sundays, Monday to Friday, fasting and reading Bibles and doing good. Yes, you can do that and you are still a Christian, but there are some attributes, there are some characteristics that you really have to portray for us to know that, oh, he or she is a true Christian. So my question for today is, who is a true believer? It's a believer, a person who goes to church, or a person who's just like do the good deeds and then just sits at home and wait for the Lord's blessings and abundance. Today with me here in the studio I have
your boy Benjamin,
and then I have
Anita.
And today, of course, it's your boy Crispin, So we're gonna be like gnashing, like bisecting and then getting to this topic today. So don't go anywhere because we got you covered.
I'm drunk, you're not. Faded on another level, about to leave the spot. Ripping shit down off the walls in the party, but I'm in the back posted, so nobody really know the slide. I don't know.
Welcome back, guys. So I'll start with always you say ladies first. So Anita, who is a true believer?
A true believer. Let me think. I think a true believer is someone that has, first of all, a personal relationship.
Okay.
Because it is not because you go to church that makes you a true believer. Church is good, it helps you to build your faith and to get surrounded by people who also believe. But I think it's also important that you have also a own relationship with God. So to me, the answer should be a true believer is someone who has a personal relationship with God.
Wow, that's so powerful. I really like that. Benjamin, what's your take on that?
Yeah, like my sister said, it is about a personal relationship with Jesus, but I think we can't really talk about a believer if we don't talk about what he believes.
Oh.
So there are essential doctrines in the Christian faith that makes Christianity Christianity. And what makes a Christian is that he follows Christ, because without Christ I am nothing, right? So yeah, it's about a personal relationship with the Lord. It's about also believing the right things about the Lord, and about also following the Lord in your words and your deeds.
That's so true, because there are so many teachings about Jesus and God, but that doesn't mean all what you're saying is true. So that's a good point, that it is also knowing what a Christian is, so not just following because you're believing.
Yeah, that's it. So my question now is, a Christian is a person who goes to church, right? So what about a Jewish? Is a Jewish person a Christian?
I mean, to think of it, the first Christians, the first believers were Jewish.
Okay.
So it's not like being Jewish in and of itself is only a religious, let's say a religious faith. It can also be a nationality. That's why the first Christians were of the Jewish faith. But what distinguishes a Jewish person from a Christian is the person of Jesus Christ. So Christians believe that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah and that he's God incarnate, so that he's God in the flesh. And the Jewish people, for example, the Pharisees in Jesus' time, they don't believe that. And I think many modern Jews today, they also don't believe these things. Yet, there are Christians who are of Jewish birth, and we call them Messianic Jews. And yeah, they believe in Jesus as well as we do. So it really depends on what the Jewish person believes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm really enjoying this topic. And Anita, I would just like to ask this question.
Yeah.
Who is a true Christian?
A true Christian.
Yeah.
A true Christian, someone who is true to the image of Christ.
Yep.
So who bears really the fruits of Christ. Because Christian, the name itself says that it is someone who believes in Christ, Christ-like. So I think when you are truly the image of Christ, then you are a Christian.
Can I add up on that? Yeah, because that's interesting, because if we look at the history of, for example, the Catholic Church, we've seen a lot of people calling themselves Christians, Catholics, and doing things that are completely the opposite of what a Christian should be like. So it's also about really the representation. who Jesus is.
Yeah, and that's actually something that sometimes if we tell unbelievers, oh, I'm a Christian, because they have already a perspective about how Christians are, the wrong perspective. So if you say that to them, it's like, oh, I know already what Christian is. But until they have seen the real fruits of a Christian or about Christ himself, then they can say, okay, this is a different Christian than this one. So yeah.
So does being a Christian essentially means you have to go to church? I mean, because we have, in the new era, there are people who don't really believe in like going to church. I know people who tell me that, Crispin, I don't really have to sit in church on Sundays to be a Christian. All I have to do is I have to just be good to my neighbor. I don't have to kill, I don't have to steal, I don't have to fornicate, I don't have to, do all those atrocities. As long as I'm living a good life or a good deed.
Yeah.
Does that guarantee me like that I'll go to heaven because I don't go to church but I'm a Christian?
Then I'll ask, what makes them believe that going to church is not a necessity? Like, what's their motivation for that? Because we don't have to forget that the Bible also says that we should not forsake the gathering of the saints. Why does God mention it in His Word if it is not important? I think the benefits of going to a church, and that means not every church will lead you to God or to Christ. So that's also important, finding a right church where they teach you the truth about God, because the benefits of going to church is that you get around people, they tell their stories, you hear about them, so that you know that I'm not the only one going through stuff or things, and they can even give a testimony that will also encourage you. So I think that's the reason why Jesus said that you should not forsake the gathering. It helps us to build also our faith. So as a short answer will be, it is a good thing to go to church, and it's a lie of the enemy actually to say that you should not go to church anymore, because he knows that there is a benefit of going to church. So yeah.
Benjamin, and what's your take on that?
Yeah, in fact, she said everything. I just wanted to back her up, because the passage that the scripture she mentions is Hebrews chapter 10 verse 25. And what is also important is that Christians should not have the mindset of like, for example, you take a Christian who does regularly go to church. He should not think, because I'm going to church, my salvation is secure. The Bible tells us that we are saved by grace through faith, and that's something that should always, because it's an essential of the faith. But going to church, there are a lot of benefits, and this community of fellow believers is also a place where you can use your God-given gifts to His glory. So,
wow.
And then a short thing that I also want to say is, it is perfectly possible that someone that doesn't go to church but still is a believer, that can be more stronger in the faith than someone who goes regularly to church but is not even taking anything in church. So it doesn't mean that if you don't go to church that you are a bad Christian or something, but it doesn't mean that if you go regularly to church that you are the best Christian or something. So that's also one thing I want to say.
Wow, like someone once said that standing in a parking lot does not mean that you are a car. So if you don't engage,
it will just crush you.
If you don't really engage with what's going on, then you could as well just.
Wow. But don't you guys also agree with me that these days Christianity has become like fashion? Like, I mean, like these days it's like you have to put on. I used to have this friends like Crispin. I come to church and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to put on my best dress because I need some pictures. And now we have something we say Sunday selfies, like Sunday take, because it's Sunday, so I need to dress, I need to look good. Of course, looking good is very good, but do you think it's really necessary for us to outdo ourselves to please the public?
No. We have lost the essence of going to church. Of course, you have to look decent, If you like this, you put it on, but don't let your focus be, I'm going to show off myself.
Okay.
Because then I think there's also like a problem with identity. If you're really putting on just to look that good so that people say, wow, today you look good, then I don't know. There's a question mark.
Well, I think I should play the fate in this because I think I'm actually a victim to that. Because I love to dress up, I mean, it's not because I want people to see that, today you are looking good. But at the back of my mind, I'm always thinking like, okay, Crispin, you have to look presentable. Like I said, how you dress is how you are being addressed.
Yes.
So just because I'm coming to church and not because, and we say the body is the temple of the Lord, and also I have to what do you call it, be there. It's about having a holy body, but not about looking very flashy or very glamorous. Okay.
You can actually, let me add also, you can look good, but your motive is important. Why are you putting it on? First of all, yes, because I want to look good, presentable, but we shouldn't put our image first. Like, I want to look good because I am who I am.
Yeah.
You see? So that's one thing I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're speaking full of wisdom today. I'm so excited to actually have you today on Hey Crispin. Benjamin, what do you have to add to what Anita said?
You guys said everything. it's like, yeah, of course you want to look presentable to people. You're not just going to wear anything to God's house. But then, God's house is not only about wearing stuff or about really showing people that, hey, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. Sunday is not about you, it's about Jesus.
Yeah, it's like sometimes we say, don't have to show your body, but show your brains also. Don't you have a brain? You also have to show your brain sometimes. Don't just show the physical looks, Show the maturity, the intelligence. The inner beauty or the inner intelligence. Do you also agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. It is actually good to compliment yourself if you see that you look good and you say, wow, I look good.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong because you are appreciating who God made you. Look,
Yeah.
you are appreciating it. So, yeah.
I know some people, their main focus of going to church is to find wives and husbands. I know people like that. Like, oh, I really want to come to church because I found this pretty girl, or like I find this handsome or cute guy that I really want to date or be with. So I really want to come to church. Now tell me, such a person, what advice would you give? Like, I want to hear your answer first. Then later I'll turn to Benjamin. Of course, it's always like this first though.
Wow, that's a good question. To me personally, I think, of course, if that's the reason why you are going to a church, it's two ways. It can be negative, but it can also be positive. Because first of all, you are trying to find someone in church, if that is really your intention, or is it really the girl that you are going to,
I know a lot of people do this. I know most people, like sometimes I post girls on my status like, Crispin, who is this girl? Who is this girl? Where is she from? Is she married? Is she single? Which church is this? I want to come to the church right now. Like, sometimes like I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you coming to church to win souls? Or you are coming to win women,
Yeah,
which is which?
that's the thing. I think it's a very tricky question because there are people who, first of all, fall in love with a girl or boy and then go to their church just for the girl or boy. But then eventually they get to know Christ, So it can be something positive. But then there are also people, of course, they know that, oh, it's just for the girl or the boy, and afterwards when it's finished, then, then I go.
Oh, die.
You see?
So
that's where it's wrong, So to me personally, it is not bad to fall in love with someone who goes to a church, and that is the reason why you are going to the church. But if the person that you fall in love with or you find attractive can change also your perspective about God and place you in the right position with God, or your mind shift, like you like this person and you love God too now, then it's positive actually. I don't have nothing against that. But if it's really just for the person, and you get the person and then you're like,
and the person
yes, and then you're like, I'm gone.
I feel you though. I feel you. Benjamin.
I think my advice would depend on if the person is a Christian or if he's not a Christian, because I had a call some days ago of a friend who was not a Christian and he converted to Christianity due to his relationship with a Christian Assyrian girl. So that's amazing. You're like, wow, you came to Christ through this girl. Well, yeah, I think my advice will depend on who I'm talking to. If this is really a mature believer, if this is he's just starting or he's not a believer at all, I would treat them to come to church.
Actually,
blast them with the gospel.
You're so right on so many angles. You're so right. But I can actually say this, okay? I had a friend, okay? Actually, it's my brother. Here is Justice. My brother used to go to church, but he wasn't really like a staunch Christian, okay? Until she met this girl.
Yeah.
Now they're married, so I would say she's my sister-in-law, okay? My brother didn't go to church.
Yeah.
This girl literally pulled my brother to the church. My brother went to the church, I think, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And through that church, they got married. They have 2 children now.
Wow.
And my brother is still in the church.
See?
So sometimes it is your intention.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it is the intention that you have in your head. I mean,
Yeah.
in your brain or in your mind.
Yeah.
If you're coming with the intention that I'm coming to win, I mean, like I'm coming to of maybe you might find it, but maybe that woman might even change you, or maybe that man might even change you. So I really don't think it's always good advice for you to actually put that in your mindset that I'm coming just to look for a guy or a girl. Before you know, that girl or that guy might not be in the church then. Maybe that's not where you are supposed to find your spouse.
Yeah.
You are supposed to find that person maybe outside the church.
Yeah.
But because of your your frustration, your what's the word?
You're following only your emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you end up in the wrong places, and that's how the cookie crumbles, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. Then so if what you guys are like really trying to say for me to understand is that Christianity is not about physical looks, right? It's about your heart and what you believe in, right? Okay. So I have this study case. Let's just like delve into this. It's actually something that I really wanted to talk about all this while. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some Christians, okay, they are going through hardship like childbearing, maybe marriage, education, financial problem and all that. And they see the church to be an establishment. That okay, if I join the church, I'm gonna get help. Such a person. I mean, come on. Why would you join a church? Because you think that if I join a church and I'm in need of any financial assistance, or maybe a church can be there. Like they treat the church like a charity place. Such a person, which advice would you have for a person like? Because there are people who are doing that. I know most people go to church because of what they get from the church. Instead of them going to church to win, I mean, to know much about God and the love and people are just going to church because they know that okay, if I have a funeral, the church is going to support me. If I have marriage ceremony, they'll support me. Naming ceremony, they'll support me. Marriage ceremony, they'll support. Like things that money can do, you know.
That's a good question, and what I'm going to say is that for such people, I just want you to place yourself in the shoe of a pastor, or imagine that you are the church, and then the people are coming with that mindset of yours to the church. How would you feel? Would you love it? Imagine you like the leader of the church and then people are coming just to take from you and to go because they know, oh, you give. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like right? In either way, I'm not denying that a church should be a place where if you are in need, they can help you. That's something a church should be. That's also the first thing also about, the churches in the time of Jesus and after Jesus died. It is their job or their, how do you say, their responsibility. Their duty also to help each other, to carry each other's burden. But it is not a place to profit off. For that we have other systems where you can
go to the bank and take a loan.
Voilà.
These days we have funeral plan, marriage plan, actually. And student loans, you can actually go to them and take the child is not your what's the word, your Father Christmas,
Yeah,
there's a lot of places you can actually go for these things.
That's also the same as imagine that you are a wealthy person of your family and then people are always coming to take of you.
Trying to milk from you,
Yeah, and they don't even have like a personal relationship with you.
Yeah.
At least if they had a personal relationship, then I'll find it okay even to give and it will not bother me. But imagine they don't even have a relationship with you, but they are only coming to beg and say, oh, I'm in problem, this, and you give.
I actually know somebody, in fact, some people who, especially like what they do is that they don't come to church here, okay? But when there's a wedding and they're not even invited, like all of a sudden you see these people in the church. When there's any any occasion that has to be with food and drinks and water, they are there. Like they are just there to eat and to drink.
Yeah.
So they're always check on their timetable. Okay, which place is like Bazin this week? Okay, this place is Bazin, I'm going there. Okay.
Wow.
This place is turning up today, I'm going there. Okay, next week is that place, There are people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm a very shy person. I know you guys are
Shy.
I'm actually shy, Look, I am that side. Look, yes, I know. I always try to say that I'm a very shy person, but like you guys don't understand. Look, this is it. For example, okay, if I'm coming to church and I'm late, I have a principle in life. If I'm coming to church and I see that I'm late, it's either I stand at the door of the church. I'm actually confessing right now, okay? Then I'll wait. If they're doing praise or worship, worship, they all close their eyes. That is the time that I enter into the church. Now, this has always been my rule in life. Even here in Belgium, I do it most like, Pastor, please forgive me, but I do it. I come to the church and when I see that they are having the praise or the worship, especially with worship, whilst all the eyes are closed, and I just crawl into my seat. Then sometimes I get like bust up, like Crispin, come and sit over there. I'm like, then they're like, oh, Crispin is in church, Sorry, sometimes I prefer to sit at the back, I don't even like to walk in the church. Like I don't even like to go and do offerings. Like just walk into. I'm sure of that.
I think I am the same, but they call them extroverts, introverts.
Yeah, extroverts in the public, but in the church, I don't.
I know. Yeah.
I'm very spontaneous, like I like to do things like secretly. I don't even know what to do front way. Like say, who wants to give 5,000? I raise my hands. I don't like not because I can't do it, but I just don't. I don't like doing those things. I feel like they are all going to be like, okay, you so really.
All those eyes, obvious attention.
But I would like to do it under G, like at the back door, That's how I am. Wow. I don't even like to walk to go and do offering. I prefer they have like a basket just going around. Put it inside. Yeah. For me to stand from my seat and
go
walk
in front.
and come back. I feel very shy of those things. So that it's my weakness. I'm saying that's what I do, and I think that is actually also bad. So our final straw for this topic for today is like I want to ask this question: do you advise or do you recommend that inter-church relationships? Do you think it's really advisable? Like, should you date in the church or outside the church? I mean, I know you can find love anywhere, okay? But do you, personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because, I've not had a relationship before. I'm just trying it out. And I meet this person in the church. Maybe we have this respect, okay? And then for some reason, fantasy, I think I'm in love, okay? And I start going out with this person. Then later in the world, why are you laughing? I'm serious. I don't have an experience in this. I'm just saying it's somebody's actually problem, okay? And then I realized that I'm not actually in love with this person. It was actually lust. Now bear in mind, this person is in the church. I'm also in the church. I will feel very awkward. So that is me, okay? Yeah. So the two of you, actually, ladies first. Do you think it's actually advisable to have a relationship in the church? Especially when you know that you are not, these days people actually get married. Physically, they are okay to get married, but mentally and emotionally, they are not ready. And today's men and women, it's all about marriage. Is like a social status. I know people who are married 22 they're married because people like, oh, she's married, he's married,
Yeah, and
it's
they are
nice.
so young.
And they are so young. It is not necessary, but that's what I think. What about you?
Actually, I kind of agree with what you're saying. I think the best moment or when it is good to do that is when both of you are not dating just to date, but you want to eventually get into a marriage. Like that's your point, your destiny. You want to find a partner for life. If that is your motivation of dating in church, then I would say okay, do that, because even though you have a courtship or you started dating and it didn't work out, you know that it was not just for lust only, but it was a purpose behind it. First of all, you were attracted to that person, and also you wanted to make life with that person, but you see that there are things that is really not going, so then there will be less awkwardness because you know that we are different people, we have other purpose in life, we don't really connect on the same page. So then it will not be awkward for you guys to walk in the same church again and just be friends and talking. But if it is, as you said, that it is you are physically attracted to the person only, then I will not advise you to do that, because no, then date someone outside the church. Because
what about you, Benjamin?
Yeah.
Your last thought on this topic.
Dating in the church, right?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, because I think when you decide, okay, this is the girl, right? Or okay, this is the guy that I really want to share my life with, first of all, like, go to the pastor. Like, ask the pastor, advise us, help us, counsel us. There's the reason why the Holy Spirit is called the wonderful counselor, is he gives us advice as well. So I'd really ask you to go to the elders of your church, those who really got the maturity to really help you. And yeah, there's something wrong if you're just doing this for lust, it will show. It will eventually show. That's so true. So yeah, that's what I have to add on.
Wow. I'm so touched and so pleased and so humbled by these two people right next to me, in fact, left and right. So before we actually bring an end to this show, I would like to just ask this simple question. What do you have for my viewers? Like, what would you like to say to my viewers about being a Christian?
I'll be honest.
Okay.
It is a wonderful, amazing, sometimes a frustrating walk, but in the long run, it's really worth it. That's all that I have to
Okay, so apparently we are all in the same church. So Anita, would you like to say something about the church, where it is, if they want to come to the church and all that? So yeah.
Yes, first of all, I want to say, Crispin, you're doing amazing.
Good job,
I love people of the kingdom, you know, doing vlogging, doing YouTube, doing different
Book launching,
Yes.
musicians.
Yes, that is
My
how it's
church, we are
supposed
really
to be.
talented. You should come to the church. It's amazing.
Yes, voila, that's how it's supposed to be. It doesn't have to be a place where you go there and it's like cold water.
And eat jollof rice and go home. No, learn something.
Voila, and that is our church, NGC, where potentials and purpose are fulfilled. So as you see, purpose, potentials, you know, your talents is explored and people appreciate who for who you are, just who you are. It's located in Mechelen in Belgium. For more information, you know this man here.
Yeah,
He's also
I'm gonna leave the website and then like the address just on the screen below. Okay.
Yeah, voila.
So guys, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for that.
And once again, if in case you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.
Share.
And of course, my new subscribers, you know, you guys just have to click on this. Like, you know, of course, if you like something that I did, just give me the thumbs up. And it's not good for you, but I know you guys are gonna love this, you know. And of course, like I always end my videos, you know, Corona is still real, okay? Wear your face mask and then sanitize your hands. I love you guys. And
Yes.
once again, it's your boy Crispin. Until then, bye y'all.
Bye.